The history of human evolution, our journey from apes to humanity. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, how did we become who we are today? The story of human evolution is not just science. It's a deep and emotional journey that stretches back millions of years. It's a story of survival, of transformation, of questions that go beyond bones and fossils and reach into the very heart of who we are. Today, we'll travel back in time, uncovering how we evolved from ancient primates into the complex, thinking, feeling humans we are now, and why that journey matters more than ever. Long before cities, language, or technology, our ancestors lived in forests, not as humans, but as tree-dwelling primates. These early creatures, similar to modern apes, swung through branches, foraged for fruit, and lived in close-knit groups. But something began to change. Over millions of years, these primates started to adapt. Climate shifts forced some to leave the trees and walk upright on 2 feet, an ability we now call bipedalism. This small change was revolutionary. Walking upright freed their hands, allowing them to carry food, use tools, and eventually shape the world around them. As time passed, their brains began to grow, and with larger brains came greater intelligence. Species like Australopithecus roamed Africa about 4 million years ago. They still looked quite ape-like, but they were already standing tall. Then came Homo habilis, the handy man, known for using simple tools made of stone. These early humans weren't just surviving. They were learning to shape their environment, to use their minds in new and powerful ways. And it didn't stop there. Over hundreds of thousands of years, species like Homo erectus emerged. They left Africa and spread into Asia and Europe. They built fires. They hunted in groups. They cared for each other. It was during this time that the foundations of human society began to appear. With fire came warmth and protection. With tools came control over nature. And with community came the seeds of culture. Eventually, evolution gave rise to one of the most mysterious and fascinating species, Homo neanderthalensis, or Neanderthals. They were strong, intelligent, and capable of creating art and rituals. They buried their dead and possibly believed in an afterlife. But while Neanderthals thrived in cold climates, another species was emerging in Africa, Homo sapiens. That's us, modern humans. We didn't look that different from Neanderthals, but our brains were wired for something unique. Imagination, abstract thought, complex language, and creativity. About 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began to migrate out of Africa. We encountered other human species, including Neanderthals, and eventually they disappeared. Why? Theories suggest competition, interbreeding, or climate played a role. But whatever the reason, Homo sapiens survived and began to flourish. We started painting on cave walls, creating tools of astonishing precision, and forming groups that grew into tribes, then villages, and eventually civilizations. From there, the journey sped up. Agriculture emerged. We stopped wandering and started building. We formed communities, developed writing, created laws, and passed down stories from generation to generation. We built pyramids, temples, cities, and eventually the modern world. But through it all, we remained the product of that long, slow process. Millions of years of evolution, adaptation, and survival. Understanding the history of human evolution isn't just about looking back. It's about knowing where we came from and how that knowledge can shape where we're going. It's about realizing that we are all connected, not just to each other, but to every creature that came before us. Every step of that journey, from the first upright steps to launching rockets into space, began with one simple thing: the need to survive, to adapt, and to understand. So the next time you think about humanity, remember that we didn't just appear. We rose through fire, fight, struggle, and triumph. We evolved through cooperation, creativity, and curiosity. And no matter how far we go into the future, our past will always be part of who we are. This is not just the story of evolution, it's the story of us.